Okay, if everyone can stick to groups of 10 to avoid tickets. HRP has been excellent with us and they would like to see you distanced. We cannot spread the Rona. So groups of 10, please. I haven't received a ticket yet. Somehow. I want to welcome everyone to the 6th Worldwide Rally for Freedom, hosted by Freedom Nova Scotia. I've met many of you, but for those who are new, my name is Morgan May. I ask that everyone gives my partner Dan a big round of applause for setting up the sound. Thanks to Flora for all her work behind the scenes. We're going to open up with our national anthem, and I'm going to get Chloe to sing for us, and I want to hear you all singing at the top of your lungs. Please welcome Chloe. All right, everybody sing along. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. Have to keep the patriotism alive. Feel free to come up at any point if you would like a Druthers newspaper. We'll have more shortly. Feel free to, if you have Snapchat, you can take live videos and share it to it's called Our Story, so that people across Canada can see that in Nova Scotia we have a good freedom presence. I'm gonna get Michelle Lindsay from the PPC. She has a speech for you all today, and she is one of our only politicians in Nova Scotia who comes to almost every single rally, and she's a huge supporter of our charter rights.
I need that flag up. There's coffee here and tea for you guys. The PPC brought that for you. And I wrote a speech. Sometimes I don't always write the speeches, but this time I did. It's essential, just like all of us. I congratulate each and every one of you for standing up against the tyranny we are witnessing today. In a society that claims to be against discrimination and segregation. I am a mother, wife, entrepreneur, federal election candidate of record, and Canadian patriot, which can be a dirty word sometimes, can't it be? I am a daughter and granddaughter of naval men and women who fought for theirs and others' freedoms, and the freedoms and human rights of future generations. I honor them with my fight today. We honor all of those freedom fighters with our efforts today. We are here because we have had enough. Enough is enough. Our government's response to this virus has inflicted more damage than the virus itself. Certain systems in our society have failed to do their job effectively and have continually produced woefully incorrect answers and ineffective solutions. The numbers have been cleverly skewed and over-exaggerated to satisfy a predetermined narrative. We must now bring our society back to reason, common sense, and we must again start the process to thrive. In January 2020, our government knew that a virus was circulating. They were asked to consider closing our borders until we knew what we were confronting. The government works for us. They are responsible for economic and national security and the well-being of our public institutions. They never closed the borders until it was too late. They did not want to be perceived as xenophobic. This was perhaps the first glimpse of the immaturity, naivety, and ill-preparedness of our federally elected leaders. Guess what, Trudeau? I don't care how you would be perceived. You are responsible for protecting your citizens, period. Your ego be damned. Of course, no one knew at the time what we were up against, and that's the point. We know now. It was and is a bad but manageable public health situation. In Nova Scotia, the public health bureaucracy has taken over the emergency management of COVID, when all public health should be concerned about is managing the healthcare system. The risks to other parts of our society were completely neglected, while the specific health risks of COVID infection were held as supreme. The lockdowns and restrictions have increased child and spousal abuse, addictions, suicides, and mental health disorders. Death from lack of cancer screening and death by a system refusing to treat our sick because of fear. Remember the young man who died in May 2021 of meningitis because he was refused care. He could have had COVID. Boo is right. COVID has closed businesses, increased our national debt, and created division and divorce in families. And worst of all, it has deferred the lives of the young. Children, teens, and young adults have had to stop working, stop playing, stop going to school, and stop smiling because of the misuse and misinterpretation of medical data in our healthcare system. Further, our news media has propagated a largely successful campaign of fear to sway the public opinion of parents. Part and parcel of the narrative that is now collapsing is the idea of vaccination as a singular solution to the COVID situation. These low-quality vaccine products have been rushed out with insufficient risk assessment as a panacea to the exclusion of all other possible remedies. Doctors, scientists, and researchers who are voicing alternate views on treatment or risks were systematically shamed, silenced, and labeled, using pejoratives by their own communities. The lack of success of the vaccination program is painfully obvious and should be an embarrassment for both public health and the elected leaders who continue to virtue signal support for these vaccinations. As we start to see news articles warming people up to a second booster phase, it is apparent that the government is doubling down on a bad deal made with Big Pharma. They need to use the product that was purchased. Because of the rigidity of our medical system, they have recorded and reported hospitalizations with COVID as hospitalizations because of COVID. Dr. Strang and Dr. Tam, your incompetency to see this has led to a breakdown of our democratic ideals and freedoms. This has comprised our psychological, physical, social, and economic well-being as a nation. Has compromised, Well, we will hold Dr. Tam and Dr. Strang liable. They're all together. Recently, we've seen some positive developments in countries like the UK. However, we can't be naive or short-sighted. There are globalist elites with nefarious intentions, and they are not done. The past 2 years have highlighted some serious institutional brokenness that will not be easily fixed. In the future, we may very well face far worse crises than a likely lab leak of a coronavirus. We need resilient institutions that are equipped to effectively address complex problems. We need to chart a path forward so we can recover and repair our society and start to live again. Children must play, students must learn, families must grow. People must develop their small businesses and pursue their careers and dreams. Effective leaders must be elected who can make thoughtful policy decisions based on vast sources of information. We want a high-trust society. That being said, as Canadians, as citizens, and as a nation, we must move forward united with strength to survive, to succeed, to prosper, and thrive. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Just another reminder for everyone to please spread out and stick in your groups of 10. I'm sure that will really help stop the Rona, and hopefully some tickets as well.
The tickets are trash!
If you are ticketed today, I do hope that you choose to fight it in court.
You'll win! Hey, give me 5,000 more! I already paid 20!
Yes, girl! Next up, I'm going to get Kenda to speak on behalf of Action for Canada, and I think she has some calls for action as well. Everyone welcome Kenda.
See, because there's corruption in the Halifax Region Police. The RCMP, though, are standing up. And that's why we should have stayed on Citadel Hill for the protest. Because they have no authority on Citadel Hill, because it's Indigenous land. So they can't even write a ticket.
Hello.
This park is the same. I looked it up.
I have never spoken in a microphone, actually. Wow. Okay. All right. Thanks. I hope so.
Good turnout, eh? The sun was out and everything when I woke up this morning.
Leave it there. All right. My name is Kenda. I am from Action for Canada. I wanted to let everybody know, first of all, that I'm going to be starting an Action for Canada chapter in HRM. Right now we don't have one. They originally started one, but it's not working out, so that's okay. We're going to start another one. We need really a couple, but at least one. There are other chapters. There's one in Sydney, there's one in Trenton, and there are a couple of others as well. For those of you who don't know what Action for Canada is, it's basically a nationwide freedom organization. And so they've started these chapters as well. They want to get one in every city and every town. And so I'm going to be starting one of those, and I have some volunteers, but I'm looking for more, and I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. I want to talk to you today about the mask mandates. I'm going to hold this. I just didn't know if I'd be able to hold it or not. I want to talk to you about the mask mandates at schools. That is going to be my number one priority in starting this chapter. When I start hearing about stories of kids coming home with bloody masks, no. And when I hear stories of kids telling their parents they are trying to sneak a breath because they can't breathe when the teacher's not looking, no. That's done. And when my kid is coming home telling me that he has to wear his mask in gym class while exercising, no! I'm done with it, and I know many of you are as well. And we're going to put a stop to it. I have been in contact with my school's principal as well as the supervisor, and I've been in contact with them since about November. And there are a couple more things that have happened at school actually that have made me just say, okay, that's enough, because I have compromised a little bit, but I'm not doing that anymore. I have a package that I'm going to send, because we need to start at the bottom. That's what Action for Canada is recommending. You need to start at the bottom and work your way up so that those people, teachers, principals, and so on, can put pressure on those up above. And so we're going to put pressure on them. And some of them are very nice, and that's great, but our kids come first. And we're not going to be mean about it. We're just going to let them know we've had enough.
Nice don't cut it.
Exactly. Nice don't cut it.
They're political prisoners.
Yep.
So are these so-called police.
Moving on. So I have a package that I have ready, and it's basically an introductory letter, because I don't even know some of these people, to be honest. I haven't even met some of his teachers. So it's an introductory letter. It is, then it's a mask, it's information about masks and how they're very harmful to kids. And then it's also a letter from Action for Canada, and this is called the Drop the Mic letter. And it basically lets them know that they're infringing on our kids' rights with masks, with these restrictions, and with the injections. And it also tells them about our rights and about our child's rights. Now, I was talking to the supervisor, and he said that this is a law. The mask mandate, the order, whatever they want to call it, it doesn't matter. It's not a law. And I specifically went to the public health site and got some information to say, they say themselves it's a guideline. And it doesn't matter if it's a law. It doesn't supersede our rights in the Constitution. So I have this information ready. I will give you some more information in a bit, but for anybody who wants to join this, you can come and see me at the end, give me your name, phone number, email. I'm also actually asking people for the school that their child attends. You don't have to give me that information. The reason I want it, and that will just be information that I have, to share with other parents who want to connect with somebody in the same school. Because I feel like I'm alone in my school, and I know I'm not. I just don't know where you all are at. The other reason I want to talk about these, I want to stop these mandates now is because, well, for one thing, it's been too long. It's time for this to end, for our kids' sakes. But also, who knows what they're going to be trying to bring down the line in the future? Jabs for school? So we need to let them know that not only is that not okay, it's illegal, but also these masks in the school is illegal. Not even just the jab. This is illegal. And this stops. I'm going to switch gears now a little bit. I want to tell you that when I started to go down the rabbit hole and started to, watch a lot of videos and all this and find out all of these things that were going on, I had a hard time. Like I'm sure many of you did. And I felt anxiety like I've never felt before, even though I struggled with anxiety for about 20 years off and on. But this anxiety was way off the charts. I had fear like I've never had before. And the reason I want to tell you this little story is because I feel like it's going to help somebody here. So I want to tell you that because I feel like some of you are Christians, some of you are believers, some of you are at least spiritual. I know you're good and pure of heart. That's one thing I know. And I found myself in this situation where I was not doing well. And I connected with someone, and I was saved on October 3rd. So I am a born-again Christian, and I want to tell you, if anybody wants to feel the way I feel now, because I feel strong now, and I feel happy, and I feel like I can do anything now, because I've got such power behind me. And if any of you want to feel that way too, come and see me. I will help you do that. It's not hard, it's simple. And on that note, I want to say as well, Luke 10:9 in the Bible, Jesus said, and I forgot my little card, so I'm going to try to do this with my memory, but Jesus said, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to take power over evil, and nothing will harm you. And so that's what we're going to do. For those of you who want to pray, we will pray. We will have faith and we will take action. And I declare on this day, the mandates will end. The masks are coming off our kids now. And I take authority over that in the name of Jesus. That's what I do. Who is with me? Who wants to take authority now? That's what we're going to do. Let's do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenda. This is the most people I have ever seen in this park. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out. It's freezing, I know. I'm so glad that we are doing this today instead of yesterday. I know there was a lot of confusion. The Worldwide Rally usually gives us a decision between the Saturday or the Sunday, and I find that Sunday is easier for most people to get out. I'm seeing a lot of discouraged people in a time when I'm actually feeling quite encouraged. For those who say rallies do nothing, 3,000 people came out in Moncton, New Brunswick and ended the proof of vaccination requirement at the farmers markets. I have tons of action groups if you or anyone else are interested in getting involved. Police on Guard for Thee and Mama Bears is looking for volunteers. The Citizens Alliance of Nova Scotia can always use help with fundraising for their ongoing judicial review. A bunch of us could use help with filing our extortion criminal charges with HRP and filing human rights complaints and tribunals. That's the other point of the rallies, to keep people posted on the behind the scenes, show the public that there are like-minded people, and see who's willing to take on our calls for action. Because I'm not here to save you, and I'm going to need all of you to get out of this mess together. For those who think that Freedom Nova Scotia should take to the streets instead of meeting in highly visible areas, I do want to address this. Personally, I don't find that taking to the streets is doing much in other cities across Canada other than angering the general public, even more than congregating maskless already seems to. And this is just going to be another reminder to split up into your groups of 10 for HRP so you do not get fined today. I think that our numbers are certainly increasing as there are a ton of people at the border today. The Nova Scotia-New Brunswick boundary for the truckers' convoy. So today is a show of solidarity for the convoy that will be headed out on the 27th to Ottawa. And they are not leaving Ottawa until this is over. Today is, I believe, day 673 of the Nova Scotia State of Emergency. I have a petition. It's up front. It's to end the Nova Scotia State of Emergency. And if anyone could help me find an MLA who is willing to table my petition, that would be a huge help. Thanks. Shannon has also started a petition to take the masks off our children, and you can sign her petition. I can't see it, but there's a green picnic table in that general area. And I'm just gonna go into a quick music break, and if during that break you have not already signed my petition, you can line up, obviously, social distance, for unobvious reasons, I don't know. We're gonna take a break and we'll see you back in about 15 minutes. I encourage you to mingle and meet your fellow freedom fighters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! What a nice crowd today! One thing I wanted to do when I got up here today was a moment of silence for the fact that many people have passed from this substance that they have mandated people to put in their bodies. And as you know, it's totally cool, in fact required, that you ask people their status these days. But once people have died, it's not done to ask if they had the shot. No. You have to keep that quiet now. And that's not good. And a lot of people are passing and having real tragic events in their bodies, and we are supposed to ignore that. And I just refuse. And I also feel really sorry for the families who feel like they have to keep that on the down low so they won't be attacked. And that's not okay in this supposed democracy. So I would like to just, before we get going, just take like 30 seconds to really send love out to those families and those people who are suffering because of
these mandates that have not only forced them to inject things sometimes they didn't want to when they've been sick from it or have died from it, but also all of the tragic things that are happening to people emotionally, psychologically. Let's just center and send love for a second. I think that's really important, so let's just breathe. And send love. I'm so happy to see everybody here today. You know, our government is trying to call those essential workers who bring us our food and goods a terrorist organization today. So they're grasping at straws, obviously. I'm on my own today because my quaccinated friends all have COVID. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I told my daughter you'd have to be an Omicron to put this in children. Anyway. What I wanted to say was, everybody these days, I think all of us who've been here for a while, and welcome to the people who just got thrown into the garbage heap with us because they don't want the booster or something. There's an unsettled feeling these days because the UK comes out and says they're gonna call it all off. And all of us are like, I don't like it. It's too quiet. What the fuck are they gonna do now? It's been that way. It's a weird time because Trudeau seems intent, you know, to go forward. Like I said in this bit that I wrote the other day, it used to be that you knew when you were well enough to be around other people, but now the government has to tell you. Yeah, thanks, Vice.
You tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us who's your daddy.
More doctors and lawyers are speaking out. Now we need the journalists to break ranks. We really need some journalists to lose their minds trying to pretend this is not happening. We really need some people because the people's media, the social media has been censored so badly because there's no known cure, they say, no treatment for this. And if you do say there's treatment, you get kicked off Facebook. Ask anyone. It's a strange time when our government is kind of turned against us. Like, I always want to say to people, you've never lived in a third world country, and it kind of shows because they're used to their government being against them. And we're like, totally naive. We thought they were our friends. But our guy, he's a globalist elite. He's one of those guys. And he's a real piece of work. All right.
Say it.
I keep getting these ads on Instagram before I was hacked. By the way, I'm hacked. Don't answer me. I get these ads for those little fires you use when you're out in the woods when you're on the lam. I'm like, I don't want to run into the woods, Mom. I got a bad hip. Anyway, let me see. All right. Yeah, with the censorship of social media, people's stories are not getting out, but I'll bet everybody here today knows somebody or 8 people who know 8 other people who have been injured or killed by this. That is the people's story. That is the truth. And we are the truth. We're here. We're in the flesh, and we're telling you we are. And I can't even think about the children. Children are, I can't even think about it because I try to kind of it's one of those things. It's too painful. It's too much. It is too much. Anyway, unfortunately, the smarty pants people, the sort of mid-level intellectual educated people, they're the most apparently susceptible to propaganda. So I'm thinking that if that middle 40% who just got pissed off about something, if they come over to our side, those Karens and those people who are, you know, they're really feisty, and once they get mad, we're gonna have a good crowd on our hands. Yeah, Karen, come on over. Wait, no. Really, I just wanted to make sure, well, one thing I was thinking is that whenever rich people are making money in your town with some project that they're doing, they don't give a shit about your health or the health of your environment. And that is what's happening worldwide. They are rolling out this technology that is not safe for people to be around. At the same time, they're making a fortune on vaccines. And these are the two big businesses today. These shots, which Merriam-Webster changed the definition of vaccine in the dictionary to accommodate. And they're making money on this this technology, which they're rolling out, you know, gently. They started pretty heavy in Wuhan, but then they backed it off a bit. So we are all at risk. And the more voices we add to this chorus, the better off we are. And I'm so grateful to see all of you here today. And just keep on turning up and keep on fighting and tell everybody do not be afraid to come out and speak up. You know, we're all going to die anyway. I love you, and stay strong.
Thank you, Kathy. And again, another big round of applause for Kathy Jones. I'm looking for my friend Paul Westaver, who donated my sign. I think he has a few words he would like to share with you all today. A big, warm round of applause for Paul Westaver.
Hi, everybody. We are the happy few. I don't think we're the happy few anymore. I think the government has shit itself publicly. That son of a bitch, Strang, he's got us hanging by a tree. That's what he's doing to us, and it's coming to an end. We know what's going on in England. We know what's going on in Europe. We know what's going on in the United States. The federal courts are throwing everything out. This is coming to an end, and now we're all terrorists. I'm happy to be with the few terrorists in Halifax. I hope those truckers bring Ottawa to a complete halt. I hope they stay there for a month and shut down this place. Okay, I got a couple of things. Number one, I have something I wanted to deliver today, and I can't because it's so good, it's sensitive. And I'm going to tell you, Houston's going to hate it when it happens. All right, so it's coming. It's coming, and Houston's going to hate it. So I'm going to have to put that one off for a little bit. I'm sorry. The next one is, I had a conversation with the RCMP. The RCMP has taken an explicit interest in Criminal Code number 346, which is the extortion code item. And extortion, if you don't know, I didn't know this. Extortion, if you don't know, is being compelled to do something. Anything.
So do they have them by the...
We're being compelled to take an experimental substance that doesn't work or we can't eat. I want you to ask yourself, if a government is preventing you from eating, is that not a declaration of war? Houston and Strang have declared war on the people of Nova Scotia. Now they're calling us terrorists. They're calling us terrorists because we want to eat. And you're thinking, oh no, those are just restaurants. When you're fired from your job and you can't feed your kids, that's a declaration of war! So all you folks are victims of a hostile act by a government that's declared war on you. Okay, so the mechanism by which they are exerting their force is through extortion. They are forcing you to take an experimental substance that doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. I have the data. 186 people went into the hospital this last time around, and 112 of those 186 people got goddamn COVID in the hospital. That's what's going on. We got a lie that's propagating through the province, and they're using that to fire people. People can't feed their kids. This is what the government's doing to you. Okay, so Criminal Code 346. Criminal Code 346. Is the RCMP are investigating a number of claims, and they're asking for us to submit and make statements and submit evidence because they believe that a number of government officials, HR in every institution in this city, in this province, these are the mindless minions who are doing the bidding of a hostile government. They are taking your job because they are told to do so. No different than some schlep private guard at Auschwitz. It's not my fault. I was just following orders. No, that's not the way the law is written. These HR people, and I'm going after them. These HR people, they're all guilty. They're guilty of extortion. They send you these happy emails. Oh, nice to talk to you. We want to know if you've consented for a vaccine submission to the HR department so that you can continue working. That's extortion. In this country, it's illegal to force somebody to take a vaccine. It's illegal to make somebody take an experimental substance without consent. And that's what they're doing. They're making you take an experimental substance without consent, or they're taking your job so you can't feed your kids. That is war! So, contact the RCMP at 50 Garland and submit your claims, because I know most of you have been extorted. And the main extortionist is that son of a bitch Strang. He's ignoring every law in Canada. He's ignoring the Charter of Rights. He's ignoring the Bill of Rights. He's ignoring the Genetic Non-Discrimination Act. He's ignoring the Personal Health Information Act of Nova Scotia. He's ignoring the Human Rights Act of Nova Scotia. He's ignoring the Canadian Human Rights Act. He's ignoring everything. He just says things, and minions inside HR departments listen. So it's your job. It's your job to go after those minions, those HR people who are actually committing the offenses. You have to file a complaint, because they're listening now. They called me. They talked to me. They asked me to send my 50 voice pumps, all that data that I've been collecting. I've submitted it. And not only that, I'm filing a personal claim. So Join me for personal claims against every HR asshole in this province who thinks they can coerce you and give up your rights to privacy for your personal health information. Okay, everybody?
Yes, thank you, Paul. Johnny, you're up next. Everyone, please welcome Johnny Tulaney from Tulaney's Pizza to the back of the truck.
What's up, everybody? First things first, can we just give it up for Paul one more time, please? Where are you, Paul? Paul! My guy! Paul! Okay, how's my freedom, people? Are you guys tired yet? Are you tired of the BS yet? Have we had enough yet? What are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do? It all starts with every one of you. First things first, thank you to every last person that made it out here today. It doesn't stop here though. When you leave here, you spread information to whoever's willing to listen, and you have to take it step by step, and it starts with you. That means no more masks. No more lockdowns, obviously.
No more lockdown!
It starts with you. Get groups of people together, whoever's willing to work with you. Start going to grocery stores without masks. Start going anywhere you want without masks. We have to start doing this together, because if we don't, not a damn thing will ever change. It's simple. It's simple. You just say no. It's simple, right? Whether it be an exemption, whatever it is. Students at school, a girl came to me probably last week, and her mom were telling me that they wanted to start doing Freedom Fridays at school, where kids at 10 a.m. just pull off their masks, whoever wants to join. I think that's an awesome idea, right? For the simple fact that this isn't even harmless towards children. How are they getting away with masking our children 8 hours a day?
Fuck you, monsters!
And now they gotta do the triple layer mask. My kids don't wear them, they still kept theirs, but at the end of the day, if we don't pull through this together, nothing will ever change. How many more new normals do we need? How many? Okay? So how many boosters do we need? 1, 2, 3, 80? When is this shit gonna stop? I'll tell you when it stops. It stops when you stop. It stops when you stop. Just say no. It's simple. So when you leave here today, carry this with you. Carry this atmosphere with you, this environment, this vibe. Keep it with you. The more you spread this vibe we have here today, the more of a chance we have to end this sooner. I have some things with me that I can hand out to you to help you with the mask. I'm not going to say what it is, just because I'm going to go grab it with my car, and I'm going to start passing it around, and whoever wants to ask you about masks and stuff, the reason why I am attacking the mask is because it is simply the symbol of fear of COVID. Because if you've seen everybody like this, where we are, there'd be no vision of this COVID thing. It'd be all over, right? The fear would be gone. So I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna pass this after. So what I need you guys to do is repeat after me. Are y'all ready? Freedom of choice. Power of the people. Freedom of choice. Power of the people. Something a little different. Y'all ready? Just say no. No more masks. No more boosters. Power Power of the people. I love every last one of you. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Johnny. A big warm of applause. Thanks. I'm going to go into another break. We have received our stack of druthers. And again, I'm going to remind you during the break to stick to your groups of 10. You're doing such a good job, and that's why no one's getting tickets. I'm going to move this. Big round of applause from Mike.
Big round of applause for fellow Nova Scotians. Yeah, just sorry, because I've been wanting to say some stuff, some stuff. I say stuff all the time. I'm not allowed to say stuff sometimes. You guys got any problem saying stuff? Can we say stuff today? I need a mic stand. So, thanks everyone for coming today, and thanks for loving your country and all that stuff, and thanks for not putting up with bullshit. I'm not going to swear much today. Oh, hi. Okay. All right. Governments implementing COVID-19 response measures, and people who support the measures often say they are motivated by concern for vulnerable populations who are more at risk of severe illnesses from COVID-19, like disabled and elderly people. Since so many people care, the voices of actual disabled people should be heard, don't you think? Yeah. The Global COVID-19 Disability Rights Monitor is a survey that captured experiences of disabled people during the COVID-19 pandemic. Responses to the survey were received from disabled people and their families from countries around the world. The highest number of these testimonies came from high-income countries including Germany, Austria, France, and Canada. According to the Canadian Institute for Health Information, death in care homes account for 69% of COVID fatalities in Canada. The survey reveals grave and systemic violations of fundamental freedoms and human rights of disabled people living in institutions. The report says, quote, of the measures that were taken by governments, some of these included a ban on visitors and a ban on residents leaving. Of those who knew about the situation, the majority, 69%, said that persons with disabilities were restricted or banned from leaving the institutions. A further 84% said that the government had banned or restricted visits from family, friends, or others in social care settings. And 82% of family members of persons with disabilities and organizations of persons with disabilities expressed grave concerns for their family members' safety and well-being within those institutions. There was fears that additional human rights abuses would occur behind closed doors in the absence of family visits. The survey received written testimonies from staff and medics who had been inside these institutions. These testimonies confirm the fears of family members and organizations of persons with disabilities. Respondents who had been inside institutions during the pandemic reported that residents were over-medicated, sedated, or locked up. A representative of an organization of persons with disabilities in the UK said, a eugenics program has been undertaken covertly. Do not resuscitate notices were placed on people with no consultation, especially older persons and persons with learning disabilities. Many respondents complained that persons with disabilities living in institutions did not receive adequate medical treatment for COVID-19. In some cases, hospitals refused to treat persons with disabilities. A representative of an organization of persons with disabilities in France said, the urgent medical aid service in the event of infection with COVID-19 have explicitly said to no longer come to institutions. Hospitals have issued recommendations which said to leave them in an institution. Care institutions and nursing homes account for half of the fatalities in some countries, unquote. Just a little break there. That's a little dry, I understand. But, okay, anyway. A person with a disability, as a person with a disability, I'm alarmed by the testimony saying that eugenics program was carried out. Eugenics. Eugenics. A philosophy based on the utopian vision of steering evolution to make a better type of person, a superhuman, is dangerous to disabled people. Wow. I can be a superhuman someday.
Yeah. Disabled?
Yeah. Disabled people were the first victims of the Nazis. A Nazi eugenics program, the T4 program, killed 300,000 disabled people. This is fact.
Yeah, it is.
I'm allowed to say this. Never forget. We must learn from and never forget this tragic history. Okay? What's going on now? Kind of the same thing. You know what I mean, right? Okay. People. You're doing pretty good. People like 41-year-old Lee Ellison of British Columbia. CTV News reports that Ellison, quote, has complex health issues, including an autoimmune disease called neurovestibular dysfunction. At its worst, she says, the illness left her bedridden for over a year. Getting the COVID-19 shot could trigger severe symptoms. When the province announced BC's new COVID-19 vaccine passport, Lee Ellison was stunned. Ellison told CTV, I'm sad for what this has become. We're losing empathy for one another. Human rights lawyers told CTV that they are hearing from many people who can't get vaccinated for medical reasons. Vancouver lawyer Laura Track told CTV, quote, our human rights laws in Canada protect people from discrimination on the basis of both disability and religious grounds. A lawyer, I got her name here, but it's not really that important. The Canadian Constitution Foundation echoed her concerns, telling CTV that people who can't be vaccinated, quote, are now sort of ostracized from society, and I think that poses a very big constitutional problem, unquote.
No kidding.
That would warrant a duh. Okay. Those disabled by COVID-19 vaccines are ostracized even more aggressively. Kyle Warner, you might know this guy. Kyle Warner is a 29-year-old professional mountain biker and U.S. national title winner from Idaho who developed disabling health conditions following the Pfizer vaccine. Warner testified at a panel discussion in Washington, D.C., held by U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, November 2nd, 2021, saying, quote, in June, I joined a rapidly growing number of young men developing pericarditis post-mRNA vaccine. That is the inflammation of the lining surrounding the heart. The condition has brought an end to life as I knew it. I have been bedridden for months, unquote. Perfectly healthy man, okay? 9 days later, Warner posted a video to his Instagram account. In tears, he said, quote, I'm sorry, I can't continue to speak out against this thing. I've lost friends, I've lost family members. To be injured by this thing that is so toxic in society, where you can't even talk and you can't get support. I had a hard time finding a therapist because when you say vaccine injury, they say, oh, you're crazy. I never wanted to be a part of this. I don't want to be a voice for this. There's no one to talk to and no one to go to. And everything's censored. I wanted to be the voice, but I'm just so scared of losing our livelihood and losing our jobs, unquote. Part of that extortion bullshit, I mean that thing that Buddy was talking about earlier, extortion, right? Taking our lives, okay. Apparently, the gaslighting almost left him with no support at all. In interviews with Dr. John Campbell, Warner discussed his first trip to the ER, saying he told the doctor his symptoms seemed to be in correlation with the pericarditis, which the World Health Organization has warned was a potential adverse effect, reaction, whatever. Warner said, quote, he thought I was imagining things and being anti-vaxxer or a conspiracy theorist. He referred me to a psychiatrist and sent me on my way, unquote. Yeah. After Warner was diagnosed by a cardiologist, that hospital addressed what happened and implemented new practices. Yeah. You're getting shit, don't they? Warner seemed eager to overlook this ordeal and work with the system to help make things better for other vaccine-injured victims who are in a desperate need of disability support. He said, if the medical system would validate the vaccine-injured, they have a better chance of not being disowned by their families. That is what allowed his own mother to come around, which seems like such a sad commentary on how devalued disabled people are in society. Legendary civil rights activist author James Baldwin said discrimination is rooted in society's categories, which are already commercial categories. And the grandfather of disability rights movement, Vic Finkelstein, spoke of how this applies to disabled people. Disableism is rooted in the medical system, making disabled people a commodity. He said, quote, disabled people have provided the fuel for the careers of millions of able-bodieds, all concerned with taking care of disabled people. As oil is a commodity owned by the rich, so are the lives of disabled people. Seems people feel comforted by this dehumanization of disabled people, like illness and death itself is being contained and conquered. Finkelstein said, quote, the disabled other plays a part in sustaining the psychic well-being of those deemed normal in society. Indeed, people with impairments serve as dumping grounds for the projection of normal people's deep-rooted fear in illness and mortality, unquote. Okay. We're getting through this. Fix your knees, fix your knees. My speech helper here is doing great. Okay. Yeah. Ed, give it a round for Ed, please. Ed was helping me out.
Have a good stand.
Ed's a good stand. Finkelstein words are more relevant than ever in our presently troubled era. In June 2020, article in Wall Street Journal by Adam Kirsch titled, Looking Forward to the End of Humanity, explores, quote, the idea of using technology to overcome sickness, aging, and death. In the article, Kirsch says, quote, COVID-19 may turn out to be just the kind of crisis needed to turbocharge efforts to create a transhuman future. With our biological fragility more obvious than ever, many people will be ready to embrace the message of the Transhumanist Declaration.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
Transhumanists, many of them associated with the nonprofits and think tanks, have long been driven by the fear that our species could be wiped out by a pandemic. People have always feared death and dreamed of escaping it. Transhumanism promises that death can be conquered physically. The movement has the support of Silicon Valley moguls with the financial resources to make it happen. Transhumanists envision several possible avenues of immortality. Nanobots could live inside our cells and constantly repair damage. Genetic engineering could eliminate the mechanisms that cause us to age. Ultimately, our hope is that we won't just be, use computers. We will become computers. Okay? This idea of reconfiguring and transforming the human being may appeal to some, but history should have taught us by now such pursuits are not always the greatest thing. Shit. These wise words from residential school survivor Chief Luther Standing Bear offered insight in his autobiography published in 1933. Standing Bear said, the attempted transformation of the Indian and the chaos has resulted are but the fruits of disobedience of a fundamental and spiritual law. Man, through centuries, has been molded and sculpted by the same hand that shaped mountains, forests, and plains, and marked the course of rivers. The body had a soul, also formed and molded by the same master hand. by living, struggling, losing, meditating, imbibing, aspiring, achieving, he wrote himself into irreversible evidence. Living and all the intangible forces that constitute that phenomenon are brought into being by spirit. That which no man can alter. Only the hand of the supreme power can transform man. But of such deep and infinite graces, finite man has little comprehension. He has therefore no weapons with which to slay the unassailable. He can only foolishly trample. So, I appreciate you listening to all that. And I have a few things to say, because I don't get this microphone very often. So, I want to appreciate...
Say some stuff.
All right. I got nothing. I don't know what to friggin' say. I'm pissed off. My Prime Minister doesn't want me around. He calls us you people. Look at you people out there. You people! What's that all about? Our Prime Minister. We're not allowed to talk about politicians, right? We can't say nothing. But they're all killing us. They're killing our children slowly. Do you know what slow death is? What happened in the last 2 years? Your children, who are 4 or are now 6 now. What happened to their early childhood development in those 2 years, eh? What have they learned? What have they listened to behind a mask? How can they learn articulation and voices from other people when you've got this shit going on? You know what I mean? Look, this is clear. This is not quite as clear. You understand? I'm only talking about children. There's a whole... Man, oh man. These people are criminal. Do you understand? We gotta fight for our right to live. We're in Canada. And I got off Facebook because I was censored because I can't say stuff, right? The government can say their fucking stuff, but I can't. So that's why I'm here. I'm off Facebook because that's a criminal fucking outfit too. You know that. But you know why you're on there? Because you need your contacts. I guess that's why. You need contacts, right? Well, I get off. I lost my contacts, but I have enough people in my life. I'll get by. I love you all, and I'm not poo-pooing Facebook. I'm just poo-pooing all the people that hide in the bushes and go, yeah, what he said. Yeah, right. Get the fuck out and say it yourself. Tell your friends you're not putting up with this shit anymore. I lost a lot of friends. And some family members don't even talk to me. Oh well. Go hide, go sit on your couch, and order shit off Amazon. That's what's really going to help the country, isn't it?
Thank you. Big round of applause for Mike Odegaard.
Keep kicking your ass. We're with you. Yeah, do it.
I lost my windscreen, Michael. All right, so whoever I spoke to earlier, thank you. There are 3 union members here you can speak with. Hang on, my hands are not working. So I want to thank investigators for their help with our extortion criminal complaint. And I want to thank Shailene and Elaine for their ongoing efforts with Scotia Mass Against the Past with almost 21,000 members. I want to let everyone know that we meet at the malls every Friday, alternating between Micmac Mall and Halifax Shopping Center. And you can keep up to speed with those events on the Freedom Nova Scotia Facebook page and their website at www.freedomns.ca. We have some calls for action on our Facebook page in regards to the ongoing criminal charges, and I will be posting the Canada Unity MOU. If you have not already signed that in support of our truckers, would you please go on and sign the MOU? And I want to just thank you all again for coming out to the 6th Worldwide Rally for Freedom. And don't forget to take your garbage with you. There's a garbage can over there. Thank you so much. I love you all. Have a good day. Cheers.